Hello and welcome to episode 462 of the Mark and Me podcast. As always, I'm your host Mark. Now, joining me on today's episode is the awesome Adam De Micco from the amazing band Lorna Shore. Lorna Shore are getting bigger, better, and as we're sitting here right now, just about to hear this interview, they've just released their 5th studio album. It's called I Feel the Everblack Festering Within Me. Just rolls off the tongue. But honestly, it's absolutely awesome. The band are sounding better than ever. And if you're really lucky, you'll get tickets to see them in the new year in February as they tour the UK. I'll be going to the Birmingham show, but they're playing Manchester, they're playing London. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Their performance at Download this year was talked about all weekend. And I'm so thrilled that on today's episode, I talked to Adam in more detail about the band's history, about his history of playing guitar, and just the whole love that he gets for being in Lorna Shore. So stick around for that interview in a couple of minutes' time. But with every episode of Mark and Me, I'll use the intro just to quickly touch base, and how can I not mention the last episode? I was joined by the Pixies. Me and Joey got to talk all about the band's history, and my god, that band influenced me like no one else. An amazing band, the numbers were insane, so thank you so much to everyone that listened. A legendary band where I still pinch myself that I got the Pixies on Mark and Me. Unbelievable, so thank you to everyone that took the time to listen and shared the episode. So I think the best thing that's left to do now is to get straight to today's interview. Here's me and Lorna Shore. So Adam, welcome to the Mark and Me podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Now, Adam, what I do, it's your first time on the podcast. Some people have been on 2 or 3 times, but as you're new, what I like to do is go on a bit of a trip down memory lane. And
Sure.
With all guests, I'm really intrigued about your childhood, and everybody remembers that first album they bought, maybe with their pocket money, or someone in your family or friend group handed you that first CD or cassette, but that first album that you remember with your own money. Can you remember? Was it a great one? Was it an embarrassing one that you don't tell people?
Oh, it's definitely embarrassing. I think the first ever CD first ever physical CD I owned is it was like a birthday of mine, and my family bought me like a boom box or like a CD player or whatever. And the movie Space Jam was out. So the Space Jam soundtrack is the first ever physical CD I've ever owned. Great soundtrack, but it's like, did not expect me to be here when I bought that soundtrack.
That's phenomenal. And the thing is with that is most people I've spoken to, and I've done this episodes, how many times? I think I've done this podcast now for almost 9 years, and no one's talked about a compilation being their first album. Most people are talking about Nirvana, Nevermind, or Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction, but to have that kind of Space Jam soundtrack, you had like a. But I like your honesty. But
I'm not gonna act as if the first record I owned was Ride the Lightning.
No,
I'm not gonna lie. I wish I could. I really wish I could.
So I appreciate your honesty there. I think that's more important. But I'm also interested the fact that would have had absolutely loads of kind of different music on, so it wasn't just like, oh, I'm liking this song. That soundtrack is a collection of artists, especially for a actual soundtrack. So I'm thinking to myself, was there one that stuck out? Were you like, I know it's embarrassing, but were you like, oh, I love this track?
What's the song? I gotta find what songs are on the Space Jam soundtrack. This is insane. I haven't thought about this probably since forever.
Tried to forget about it.
No, it's cool. Like, I don't even believe in like guilty pleasures, so like it just kind of, I lose all my like credibility.
You had Seal on there, which was pretty cool.
Seal, but it was not the song. It was not Kiss from a Rose.
No,
because Kiss from a Rose was Fly Like an Eagle is an incredible song. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I Believe I Can Fly, R. Kelly, amazing song. Say what you want about. Let's see.
Look at it, Salt and Pepper. Salt
and Pepper, great song. Hit 'Em High, the Monstars song is an incredible. I love that song because I feel like it captivated what I pictured the Monstars.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go just classic, like Fly Like an Eagle is just a just incredible song. It makes me think of being like a child and like playing basketball in like my room on like the my closet hoop and just like playing that soundtrack and like thinking I was like Michael Jordan like jumping through the air, but even though it was probably like a few centimeters off the ground. And I chose centimeters because where I'm speaking to.
I'm looking now, and I can't believe like nowadays you would never get a soundtrack with this many artists. There's R. Kelly, Coolio, LL Cool J,
Oh, the
Busta
Coolio song was
Rhymes,
great. What was the Coolio song? Oh, The
The
Winner. Okay.
Winner, yeah,
Yeah.
Jay Z, R. Kelly together. Then you've got Chris Rock and Barry White. It's
Wow.
insane. Like
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to be doing after today's interview. I probably will put that on and listen to it and be like, "Oh my God, I'm 15 again."
Yeah, it makes me it, like that was just like the first ever CD because like I always talk about anytime I get into like thinking about how I got into music, like I feel like anytime I ever talked to any friend I ever had, they always had like this older brother or like relative that was like, "Hey, check out Pantera." I didn't really
Yeah,
have that. I'm the older brother, so like I didn't have the only experience I ever had to getting into like heavy music is I had an older cousin who had like a Metallica and like Ozzy poster in his room, and I was just like, I have no idea what this is, and that's where it like started, and that's where it ended, and I was like, who is this? And that was like, it doesn't sound like, well, I guess it doesn't sound like Space Jam, so I don't get it. So yeah, that was the only way I was exposed to like any of this. So I didn't have any cool record that was like I was listening to as a child. I was also a child.
yeah. I respect your honesty. I've had people on coming on here that, "Oh yeah, my first ever album was Ride the Lightning." I'm like, bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's call it out. Like, I appreciate that you came on here. First question, you're like, "Yeah, Space Jam." Like, there's no bullshit.
I'm not again. I didn't get into metal till later into life.
Yeah,
I found out about it obviously later on. I was again when I'm 8 years old, 7 years old, however old I was at that point in time. Like I'm not as much as I would love to think of myself listening to Hammer Smash Face at that age. I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't.
yeah.
And again,
Cowboys
I
from
listen to
Hell.
it now,
Yeah,
but like, and if I had a child, they would be like the first record I ever listened to was like Cannibal Corpse or
yeah.
like Dying Fetus, but I don't have a child, and the first record, unfortunately, I have of my childhood days is Space Jam.
So what about live music? Because I talk about this and I've talked about it to everybody that's been on, but I was very lucky and it isn't bullshit. Like my first gig was Green Day on their Dookie tour.
Okay.
So I was really lucky. I think, as a kid, probably 12, 13, I came home that night and I wanted to be in a band. I wanted to be like Billy Joe Armstrong. At that age, I was like, fucking hell. And that led then to Nirvana. Then it led to like Korn and Limp Bizkit and Deftones. So it really kind of started the roots really well for me because when I go to a gig, it's like a religious experience. And at that
Mm.
age, I wasn't coming home and being like, oh, I want to now go to Ozfest or Download, but I was thinking, I want to see more bands. I want to feel that kind of rib, when your ribs kind of shake from the bass and the drums and the
Hmm.
hairs on your
Yeah,
neck
yeah.
stick up. And I wondered, obviously, you never went to see Space Jam live in concert, so I wondered
Imagine.
that would be fucking those ticket
Yes.
prices, Jesus. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what was your first gig? Can you remember if it was a cracker or was it an embarrassing one? Or
No, I think I didn't really go. So I grow up in New Jersey, and it's not really like a hub for like live music. It is, but it isn't at the same time. Like usually now when I'm being in a band, everyone's always asking me, why don't you play New Jersey? It's just like understanding how this world works. You're most likely to play the surrounding cities like New York or
yeah,
Philadelphia or whatever. So as a teenager, I didn't have access to that, and I was only just going to like local shows, so it was just like local bands was my first show. But like my first ever like seeing a real like this is a band I own their CD, and I went and saw it was the band Thursday from
oh
New
wow,
Jersey.
yeah,
And
brilliant.
they every year, I don't know if they still do, but every year they did this like show around Christmas time. It's like their big show at like Starland Ballroom. And I was just like, that was like the pinnacle because at that point in time, like loved Thursday. And they're from New Jersey, and it was just like one of those like bands that I was like, I'm proud to be from here because Thursday's from here,
That's
and
cool.
it's like it was really cool because like obviously they have reference to like some song titles being of like towns in New Jersey and stuff like that, and they kind of reference that, so it's kind of cool, I guess. But that was like the first time I ever saw like a band, and I was just like, this is kind of crazy because I was just used to going to like local shows where there's not a lot of people at. This is like the first time I went to an actual felt like a concert, if you will. So I saw Thursday, and that was to me was like at that point in time I was already into wanting to be in a band. I wasn't at that point in time, but I remember being like, I knew at that I really wanted to like be in a band because I felt like just going to shows wasn't enough for me. I was like, I like being a fan, I like listening to music, but I was like, I feel like I want to do more than just go to shows. And I remember seeing Thursday, and I was like, this is like hectic, and I just hope to be on the other side of it. To be on stage, you have a lot more space than to be in a crowd where you're like
Yeah, it's
sandwiched next to
true.
each other, sweating in December, which makes no sense. But yeah, that was one of my first like I can think of like an actual like band I went and saw. I got into like music later in life because I played sports my whole life. So I played uh, football, but European football. I played American soccer my whole
Yeah.
life. So yeah, I didn't really get into like going to shows and seeing bands till like I was a little bit older. And I always worked summer jobs, so I couldn't go to Warp Tour, and I missed out on those experiences too. So I definitely missed out on a lot of experiences. So I guess touring
Making up
now,
for
I
it
guess
now, yeah.
yeah, I guess I make up for it now because I go to all the places now and go to
Yeah.
all the festivals and stuff like that. So
New Jersey, man. My dad was 80 7 years ago, and he'd never been on holiday. You know, we're from like a rural area back in Shropshire in England, and he'd never been on a plane. You know, he'd never
mhm.
been further. So he'd always talked about wanting to go to America. So we surprised him for his 80th birthday, and me and my mum paid for him to go to New York. And while we're there, I'm a huge, huge Kevin Smith fan. Huge.
Okay.
He
Oh, so
was,
yeah, did you go to
yeah.
the store
So we
with? I think
went
it's
to the Quick Stop in New
yeah, yeah,
Jersey,
yeah,
and then we went to his Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash in Red
yeah. That's it.
Bank.
Yeah, in Red Bank. Yeah, yeah, that's
And
right.
I fucking loved New Jersey. I felt like it was home. There's even a place called Shrewsbury in New Jersey, which is crazy. And I went around and I just felt it was the perfect place. It didn't have the kind of showy, intense pace of New York.
Mm-mm.
It was really chilled. I went to some incredible places to eat, lovely diners. The record shop across the road in Red Bank was amazing, and I just felt like I could easily live there. Like I
New
just,
Jersey is amazing.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just like I love the place. Obviously I'm biased. I'm from here, but I always say to everyone it's the best, worst place to live.
yeah,
But it's just one of those. It has a character that if you appreciate it, like I'm glad you're saying all that. There's people that come here and they appreciate the character and like the uniqueness to it, and some people just don't like it, like because it's not New York enough, and like it's kind of its own thing. I again, it's funny that you mentioned Jay and Silent Bob because I grew up loving the movie Clerks. Like that was a movie I
yeah.
used to watch like every weekend. I thought it was like an incredible movie.
It's
And
genuinely a masterpiece, and I was very lucky when I started this podcast. I used to listen to Smodcast, Kevin Smith's
okay,
podcast, and he was the very first guest I ever got on. So
no
he was the
way,
very first guest of the podcast. I was like, "Fucking hell, I've hit a home run here!" And I celebrated only 6 months ago hitting episode 400, and he came back on,
no
and
way. That's
and
awesome.
we had this like sit down, and I was like, "Kevin, since I got inspired by you." I've now gone on and interviewed Anthony Hopkins and Mads Mikkelsen and Deftones and Incubus and Kat Von D and all these great names. I was like, it's because of you, dude. Like you inspired me. But he's like a celebrity, isn't he, for you guys? Like everybody around New Jersey is like he's a god. Like he gave us
Yeah, it's
Clerks.
like I think if you know, you know. It's not like everyone because I feel like normal people don't even know who that is, or
Yeah,
I don't think you would expect that they're from New Jersey. There's a lot of people that you don't even know is from New Jersey because it's very common you live in New Jersey, and if you want to do anything in entertainment, you have to pretty much leave New Jersey.
like
So it's like
breakaway. Yeah,
yeah, so you have to either go to LA or like even just as the bare minimum going to New York. But mostly everyone just like leaves and goes to LA. So it's always funny to find out people are from New Jersey because it's like it's not a place you stay. Um, but yeah, for me, it was just crazy when I was into Jay and Silent Bob and Clerks and what was the other one? Was it Dogma?
yeah.
Right?
Dogma, Chasing
Yeah,
Amy. Yeah,
yeah,
brilliant.
all those movies. I remember seeing all those movies like as a teenager and being like, "Oh, like the store is in Red Bank," and I was like, "Oh, I had no idea they're from New
And
Jersey."
it's
Like I
just in a
hadn't.
convenience store. It's like it's shot for about 50,000.
And and to be fair, there is a million like convenience stores that are named some sort of offshoot of Quick
Yeah,
Stop, or
yeah.
so like there's a bunch by me, like some quick check or stop or shop or mart
Quick
or something.
shop,
And
yeah.
it's very stereotypical when you look at it and you go to like a convenience store in New Jersey. It is exactly what that is in the movie. Maybe it's a little more updated to like a modern day, but for the most part, it's pretty much pretty accurate to like any little corner store you would go to. Especially in New Jersey, not only in New Jersey, but when I saw it and I realized it was New Jersey, I was like, oh, that makes sense because it looks like we're down the street from my friend's house. He had an actual quick stop. Was it? Is it a quick
Quick
stop?
stop is in the film, yeah.
Yeah, so
Quick
he had
stop.
one that was actually called Quick Stop, and I was like, that's kind of crazy that like it's called that, but then realizing there's a million Quick Stops everywhere. So yeah,
But it must have been great for you because, you're in a place that you love. You said that when you went to your concert and had this great first experience and saw these bands, and Thursday was kind of proof that people that where you live from can make it.
yeah, that's kind of what I was gonna say is that like you don't really have a lot of because America's such a big country and like you
Yeah.
find out all these celebrities are from like somewhere else. You don't really think New Jersey is one of them. But then when like I was seeing like during like the whole emo like uprising, you had like My Chemical Romance, Senses Fail, Armor
Yeah.
for Sleep. All these bands are from New Jersey, and I was like, that's kind of crazy. So it made it seem like okay, you can make it as a band from New Jersey, and then like you start finding out, oh yeah, right, Bon Jovi and Bruce Springsteen are from New Jersey,
It's
and
insane,
it,
isn't it?
yeah, and then like I'm sure there's plenty of actors. I mean, Ray Liotta went to my high school,
Yeah.
and
That's
so
very
it's just
cool.
like yeah, there's like a like there's a I think a plaque of him in my high school that he went to that high school. So it's just kind of crazy that like you start realizing these like entertainment figures are from the area and because you don't really think about it growing up you're never like hell yeah like being in a band New Jersey
Of
like
course,
but it does
yeah.
make sense though because it's right outside New York City. It's a very dense it's the most densely populated state, so it just basically means there's the most amount of people on top of each other, so you're most likely going to find some sort of uh you know musical person, I guess, in that world because you're on top of each other. Versus like I always think if I grew up in like a different state and you're so scattered, like would I even be able to be in a band? It's just really easy being from New Jersey getting into a band because it's like it's a very small niche scene, so you kind of know everyone because again everyone's on top of each other. So yeah, and I don't know, but it definitely gave me the evidence that you can make it because there's a lot of my favorite bands were coming out of New Jersey. And again, when I saw Thursday, like that's when My Chemical Romance was like in its like prime of like Welcome to the Black Parade. And like they were to me, I thought that band was like the biggest band like in eternity at
Yeah.
that point in time. And I'm like, they were from the area, like I had so it just kind of yeah, it gave me the evidence and like the push to be like, you can actually do this. It has nothing to do with your surroundings.
But isn't it incredible that My Chemical Romance are probably as big now as they were then? And they've announced tours over here. They sold out in seconds, and they just stood the test of time. There's just this huge kind of pat on the back for those guys. They've just got this huge success that they fully deserve. But
Oh,
it,
agreed.
but it, there's not many bands as big as them. They can just come back whenever they want and be like, "Hi guys, we're ready to play some songs. We've not got any new music, but
Yeah,
fuck it."
it's crazy, but I do feel, and again, I'm very biased. I do feel like Welcome to the Black Parade is like like phenomenal record, and I
Yeah,
always find myself going back to listen to it, and it feels like if you told me it came out today, I'd be like, that makes sense.
yeah,
Do you know
it
what I'm
does.
saying? Like
It's
it doesn't like
timeless. Yeah.
it doesn't feel dated. It doesn't feel like, obviously I know that it came out at a certain, in the early 2000s, but it doesn't sound or feel or like just kind of it's not stuck in the era.
It's so true because you do listen. As much as I love some bands, right? I absolutely love them. One of my favorite bands of all time. I've got a tattoo. Everything is Thrice. I absolutely fucking
Okay.
love Thrice. I
Right.
think they're brilliant. But you can tell when I listen to their early work, which is 20 years ago, even the sound of the hi hat and the drums and everything, the way it's produced, I'm like, it sounds 20 years ago. It sounds like bands like them that came through, like bands in the UK, like
Hmm.
Headers for Heroes, 100 Reasons, Biffy Clyro, their early work. It all sounds like an era of 20 years ago when I was at uni. But My Chemical Romance could be 20 years ago, 20 days ago.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
it's
crazy because like
insane.
yeah, it is kind of wild and it's like I don't know, I always just chalk it up to like that record, especially that record, Welcome to the Black
Yeah.
Parade, was such a cultural record. It's more than just like this is a solid record at a point in time. This was like I feel like just was the record that really, in my opinion, is like the flagpole of like that whole culture of the
It's
whole
a whole
emo.
movement, isn't it?
I think so. And again, obviously I'm biased, so I
No, but
understand.
dude, everyone listening's gonna be like, yeah, too fucking right, because it came with all the imagery, the artwork, the music videos, the black and white shoots, the way they were wearing these kind of costumes, the way they presented themselves. Everything was all about the art,
Yeah, yeah. No, it really was, especially
you
because
know?
like I did like Three Cheers for Sweet for Revenge. That was a record that came out before it, but I
Yeah.
feel like Welcome to the Black Parade was so concise and like the image was so like there that it just felt like I don't know, it feels iconic in a way. So yeah, it's crazy they stood the test of time. It's crazy that like they're playing like stadiums or I think they were playing MetLife Stadium or going to or whatnot, but like as a giant American football stadium, and then like that's where they're from, and it's just kind of crazy to think about like a band like that being able to play something like that. Because when I picture like American stadiums, I picture like pop artists,
Yeah.
maybe Metallica, and then like that's it. But nowadays you're having a lot more heavier bands, even like System of a Down and Korn just played MetLife, which again, I would never think that. It's just crazy that they're able to do that, which is like to me amazing and so awesome because it's like I as a kid, I always imagined these bands being the most enormous bands ever. And then now you're kind of getting evidence of like they are actually kind of what you thought they were, and they deserve that, which is if they never had it before, I'm glad they're having it now because like to me, some of those bands are like laid the foundation for like a band like us or any other band similar to it to exist. So it's just kind of cool to see that. Um, it's just kind of awesome for me.
I also think I was very lucky. I went to WrestleMania 29 in New Jersey.
Okay.
And my old podcast was a movie podcast and TV and all kind of pop culture. And me and my co-host went to WrestleMania in the MetLife.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't think if listeners are listening right now, you actually completely understand how intimidating and big that stadium is. You might think, oh, yeah, it's a stadium, but for My Chemical Romance to go there and sell it out, and
Yes.
you just said System of a Down, like you can't really get your head around it. Even if you see it on TV and you see footage of Bruce Springsteen and the crowd shot, until you're in there, you just get swallowed up. It's just this huge. It feels like a city. It's so
No,
big. You're like,
it's a lot of people, and like
yeah,
to me, I think it's expected. You're like Bruce Springsteen can play a stadium, right? Like
yeah,
that's like one of the most, I'm not a huge Bruce fan, but I can still recognize he's one of the most like iconic rock and roll figures, or one of, up there at least, put him up there, right? And it
yeah.
makes sense. Like someone at that stature could sell out MetLife, being from New Jersey, and to think like a band I saw on MTV being System of a Down and Korn to be able to like play at that level, and it's like I think it was sold out, if not close to it. Maybe I'm wrong, but like that is just awesome, and I think it's just really cool for like heavy music in general. Um, and it just to me, it just kind of I don't know brings me back because I just remember being a kid seeing those videos and like not thinking anything of it, and just now they're able to play in like a massive stadium because it's again MetLife is no like
No,
tiny little thing. It's a massive like NFL stadium, and those are all massive.
it's a great time for music, and I've only had this conversation mostly this year because I truly believe it. And some people might say, "Oh, it just goes around in cycles," but for me, metal and rock at the moment feels bigger than it's ever been. And
It
there's these
does.
resurgences that Deftones have never been as big as they are right now. Even though 20 years ago or 15 years ago I was wearing a white pony hoodie at school and college, people were like, "Oh, it was you either liked metal or you didn't." And if you did, you were a bit of an outsider and you'd
Mhm.
wear a hoodie and kind of be like, "Well, I'm one of the fucking fans," but it wasn't the cool thing to do. Now, Korn have just headlined Download. Deftones are going to be selling out arenas all over the world. Everyone's going crazy. I think it got to number two in the album chart. Sleep Token is a whole other
Mhm.
insane accomplishment. And the achievement that I keep seeing from these bands, especially the ones that are having resurgence, like Limp Bizkit, everybody's like as if like they've just come out.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I feel like a few years ago, maybe like 5 or 10 years ago, some of those bands, or maybe not these bands specifically, but other bands that are from that era could not do like that. Or I think
It's true. I saw Limp Bizkit 5 years ago in Birmingham in an arena in a the Academy 2 or Academy. and it probably holds a couple of thousand. Like, you are right, dude. In the last few years, something's changed.
And it's awesome. I mean, I'm glad to be here for it. You know what I'm
I
saying?
was
Like,
gonna say it's working very well for you.
yeah, it's definitely awesome. I mean, I'm just I always think about this because my perspective on the band is so like skewed from how other people see the band. You know, being here from like pretty much the beginning and the inception, and just like
Yeah,
playing like local shows to nobody. Like I think I feel in my head surpassed any goal that I ever had, and like then it's just like I we've gone beyond where I thought we could go. I was like, if we get to this, this certain point, that will be as good as gold, but we've surpassed that significantly. And I'm like, all right, well, now what? So to me, I'm just happy that like we get to experience this at this level. I'm glad that like our music gets to reach this many people because it's like you wouldn't expect a style of music like ours to make its way to like, you know, the people that are interested in it, and it can be anyone, whether it be younger people, whether it be older people, whether it be people that listen to metal, that don't listen to metal. It's just crazy that like how it's making its way into so many different people. And I would never expect it because I feel like the genre we're from and like the world we come from is such a niche pocket that like if you know, you know. And now it's just like it's extending outwards, which is again I'm very grateful and very excited about, and it's really awesome. But I couldn't have predicted or guessed this in the slightest
no,
at any single point in time doing this. So I'm happy that now it's doing well though.
it's great, and it could be so different. But I think when you started and you were, making this band, you kind of took the words out of my mouth. But I was thinking to myself, did you have any expectations? Did you sit down? Because you just said you never had any kind of idea that it would blow up like it has. But
Yeah, I don't think, and I think realistically, if it was like the next yard post. So when we were a local band, it was like, okay, cool, let's be able to like get signed and go on tour. And then it was like when we got on tour, like let's just like try to get to the next step, which is get on these tours or get on this thing or get on that thing. We just kept kind of like moving the yardstick. So it was, but I never thought in my mind being like playing download or like some massive festival in Europe. We just did a bunch of festivals a few months ago. I would never thought like when we were in this band like that was even a possibility because it's just like we're a weird niche band. We don't really belong on these festivals. So like if we get to do it, great, but it's like not expected. I just thought like for me the ceiling was like all the venues that we were playing as a support band, as an opening band. I was like if we could one day headline here, we've made it. And then like 3 years ago we did that, then I'm like, well, now now what? You know what I'm saying? Like now what do we do? So it's really crazy because like that was my ceiling. Like when we released Pain Remains going on 3 years ago, it was the ceiling where we were at was like that was my ceiling of like, oh my God, if we
yeah,
headline here, that's it. And then we've done that, and then I was like, well, what? I don't know what to expect. So I guess it just kind of constantly moving the yardstick forward. But I never thought it would. I never thought that was a possibility. Like you have had like aspirations, but they
of
sometimes they
course.
always feel like you're just I don't know. You're it's not possible. It's not likely. But you'd be like that'd be amazing if that happens. But the realistic goal, I was like, if we get to this point, we're good.
Do you ever get chance to take a step back and reflect and see how far you've come as a band? Because I know it must be difficult when you're so incorporated into it. Internally, it's your job, so you get up and you take part and you do it. But are you ever able to take that time out and reflect and mentally look at it as an outsider, as a fan, and see just how much of an impact you've had? Because I know it's difficult because we're talking about you, but
Hmm.
your band has had so much success. It's fully deserved, but every album's got bigger. Every show you do has more people turn up. Every slot you do at a festival, you're going higher.
Hmm.
There's not been any kind of downfall. But are you ever able to take it in and be like, oh my God, like I can see more people tonight in the crowd with our t-shirts on, and fuck me, like I didn't expect us to sell that many albums tonight, and oh God, the merch is almost sold out. Like, is it ever kind of, do you ever have that time to reflect, or is it just too much and you just kind of, you're on this roller coaster and you just don't ever get time to get off?
I'll say yes and no because there
Okay.
is times I can reflect on it. It's also during times when it's not expected to reflect on it, right? I
Yeah.
think we've always talked as a band, or like me and Austin specifically, have always mentioned, like the shows that everyone says this is like the big moment, like you're so it just puts all this pressure on you and you're so like worked up over it. And then the shows that like you're not really thinking too much about is when I kind of gain all that perspective because you're not like having this pressure of like you're here now and you're playing this massive moment. Like there's definitely some times where I'm like I get reflective, and it's happened over the past few years where it's like at different moments. It happened on stage, it's happened off stage, it's happened like when I'm off tour, it's happened like just falling asleep in my bunk, just like kind of reflecting on the day. It happens at different point in time. I'm obviously very like reflective. Sometimes it's hard because you're so immersed in what you're doing and you almost kind of compartmentalize of like, okay, today I got to do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So you
Yeah.
don't really have the time to stop and smell the roses. So sometimes it does happen when I come home and I go, wow, this is crazy. Or if like I see a photo, if I'm like on the plane and I have no service and I'm like cleaning out photos on my phone, 'cause that's usually what I do is like, cool, I might as well just clean up space on my phone. I go to like an old live photo from like a few years ago and I'm like, that's crazy because I know at that point in time I thought that was like we were such a big deal. And now I have a photo from like yesterday of like or whatever of like where it's to that much more people. But yeah, I get reflective and I get reflective on at moments when you don't expect it
That's
or
fair.
somebody
Yeah.
would tell you not to. Like I think but the first time we played Download, everyone I felt like I didn't enjoy the first moment at Download. It had nothing to do with Download, but everyone's like, it's a big deal. You're playing main stage at Download. Big deal. Like kind of don't screw it up. And I remember just being so nervous the entire time and I was like, this is not fun. And then like 2 days later, we went to Ireland and played like Belfast and Dublin and like I had like an out of body experience of like and we played a club show to like 400 people comparable to like Download being to like,
A
tens of
sea
thousands
of
of people.
thousands. Yeah.
And I was just like, yo, this is amazing that like our music took us to Ireland. And I'm just like, I never like thought about it because again, you're being told, okay, this big festival, this big spot, this big moment, that's the moment. And then it's hard for me to think about it. But then you go to like something that like nobody would ever really mention. And I'm not knocking on that show because I
No, of
actually do love
course.
that
Yeah.
show. I don't want to get taken out of context, but yeah, it's just like sometimes it happens at these moments, or we play like a festival that's just like on a festival circuit that's not like the big quote unquote festival, and you play and you're like, yo, this is awesome. Like this is crazy that we actually got to experience this, and like it's crazy that this many people are seeing us in a country I never thought we'd play in. Like we played a show in Hawaii earlier this
How
year,
cool is that? Just to
and that
say
like to
that.
me
Yeah.
was I love a lot of the stuff that we've done this year, but that was one of the coolest moments because like as a band, we had an amazing day to Hawaii. We went to the beach, had like an awesome time, then played a show. And it was not even a sold out show, but it was like a decent amount of people were at the show, or maybe it did sell out at the end, but it was like not a big show. But I was like, it's so crazy that our music took us here. And the same thing happened when we played Japan. I was just like, I never thought we'd play here. And it's just like sometimes you I have to, not that I have to force myself to think about it. It happens organically. When people tell me I need to like think about it and be like all this like this moment be very grateful and very proud of blah blah blah. It's kind of hard for me to land for me. I kind of have to like come to it on my own. And when I come to those moments, it is kind of surreal. It's just like, wow, that's kind of insane. But it's always the moments that like that nobody would really like talk about. And it's always during times and shows and situations that they would just be like another stop on the road, as opposed to like on every tour, there's always like, here's the pinnacle moments and here's the big
Yeah.
important moments. And I'm always like, those days I just don't even enjoy because it's so stressful. And then you go play like a city in the middle of America and you're like, this isn't the best day of my life because it's just like an amazing time and like kind of why you do it. But I'm also like, I don't know, like what motivates me is I'm a lot more simple and I just enjoy the simple things in life. And it just like to me, if we just have a good time as a band around each other and we play a good show and we just enjoy each other's company, I'm like, that's the best day ever. And on those days
Perfect.
that are
Yeah.
really like hectic, no one's around each other, no one's talking to each other, everyone's like kind of either stressed, someone's in the green room stressed out, someone else is talking to somebody else, and like we feel so disconnected versus like on some of those days in the middle of nowhere you end up having the best shows because it's just like, well, all we have is each other. And I was like, and I remember thinking like that's kind of what I wanted to do anyway. That's why I wanted to be in a band, was just to like go on tour with people that I enjoy being around, writing music that I love, and being able to just play to people that I didn't expect to play to. And I think it's in those moments. It's like in those like moments you would kind of forget about. I feel like when it really lends itself to show you why you're here.
Yeah. And I think what I picked up then as well, which is quite refreshing to hear, is that you're very honest with the fact that Download, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but probably didn't live up to the hype because it was built up so much that you couldn't really enjoy it because it was too much pressure. And
Yeah, and
when nerves kick in, you know, you don't enjoy it, do you? Sometimes it can be what you need to kind of make yourself perform better and take you up a notch. But at the same time, if I have, if I'm told I've only got 20 minutes with an artist, don't say this, don't say that, make sure you talk about this, make sure you don't mention this topic, and they really can't talk about this. I'm so worried about fucking everything else.
exactly.
When it comes to talking to them, I'm like, I feel like a robot because I've been programmed now to not be able to talk and do what I
Yeah,
want to do.
exactly.
So I
Exactly.
can see the pressure of Download. Probably, you probably can't even be in the moment because it's too much. So, but even
No,
when you come off stage, you're like, did that happen? Like, fuck.
yeah, and also when we played download, it's like we're really like that first time playing download, we were like really new to playing festivals and to playing to that many people. Like
Yeah,
not even a year before that, we were playing in like 600 cap clubs, and like that was big for us, you know? So then to play to like a lot of people, and like download at that point in time was one of the like on that run specifically a few years ago, that was like one of the bigger ones, and that was earlier into the festival run. I think this year, as we've done like bigger as we've done big festivals like Hellfest and Grass Pop and Rock 'em Ring and Rock 'em Park, which would like we played to probably more people on those festivals because we played like later in the day or
yeah.
whatever. I feel like we were a lot more comfortable. But even the same thing happened at like headline shows. I remember when we did a European tour a few years ago, we played our first like big headline show, like our biggest headline show at that point in time was like in Munich in this like airplane hangar, or was an airplane hangar, and it was like on Thanksgiving, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, the most people came," and I'm like, "Holy crap!" I literally got off stage and I bawled because I had the worst set of my life. I like
Oh
screamed
man.
in between songs because like my gear messed up and I was just like I couldn't get my head in the game. And it was just like I had an awful time because everyone was like, "Oh my God, you're playing this to this many people. This is the biggest show of the tour." Like all that stuff. And they're just putting it in your brain. And then again, a few days prior to that, we played like a nightclub in Prague. And I was like, this was the best day of tour because it was just like there's no pressure, there's no obligation, there's no like you need to smash it today. It was just like go play a show because you got another one tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the stop, and those shows with no pressure were always my favorite. I have the best time. I feel like, and in turn, I think the crowd has the best time because I think we feed off the crowd's energy, they feed off our energy, but it's like who goes first? Like do we have to go first to provide the energy to the crowd? Do the crowd have to provide the energy for us to feel good? So it's a never-ending cycle. But yeah, I just never really enjoyed those moments where it's like this is the big moment. And I always ask now if it is the big moment, just don't tell me about it because I don't want to be in my head, you
No.
know?
That's
Yeah.
again, I really appreciate how honest you've been on this interview because I think a lot of people would look at the lineup and see, it was the Sunday you played this year, wasn't it? I think was that right? Was it
Yeah,
like
the day we played
Corn
with
and
with
Bullet?
with Corn,
Yeah,
yeah.
Spirit Box, Meshuggah, Bullet for My Valentine. It's such a big moment, and it's the final day of the festival. Like the pressure, I don't know. I couldn't even. I'd be sick. I'd be like, I can't do this. Like,
Yeah, thankfully this year when we did it, we didn't play main stage.
yeah,
And
it
then we had
was.
like technical difficult like something happened with like they cut our set but then didn't cut our set. So it was just like that was just not really that was a different experience where it was like it was not a fun day for a
No,
different reason. And that's no like that's like like no reflection on the crowd that's there. And I feel that's what in those moments I feel bad for the crowd that's there because I'm like they have nothing to do with this. We didn't even cause this, and
no,
like this happened at no expense on us or the crowd. And it's like we're here to play a show. The crowd's here to see us, and like neither one of us caused this situation. So yeah, just that kind of sucked. But like that's no reflection on like download or
no,
anything else like that. It just because for me it's like playing a show is always for playing for the people. I think like what is it in Field of Dreams? You build it, they'll come. That sort of kind of philosophy. If you put on a show, they'll be there. It's like I think it's Wayne's World 2 as well. You book it, they'll come. I think that's
Wayne
from
stock.
Wayne's World.
Yeah, if you book
Wayne
it,
stock
they will come.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly. So I feel like I believe that. Like I feel like the crowd makes the show. I feel like if they booked it in a completely different place, I think everyone would still come. If they, it just to me, it's just about putting on a show, a great show for the fans. and I feel bad in those moments because I'm like I can't even perform my best, and it's not fair to them, especially if it's people seeing us for the first time or not really getting to see us. So yeah, I felt
Jim Morrison, and a naked Indian guy
yes,
are never going to
exactly.
be wrong.
Yeah, exactly. That was
Yeah,
actually one of, speaking of early piece of music, I owned a cassette from Wayne's World 2, and I forget, I couldn't tell you what song was on it. Maybe I wish I knew what cassette was on it, what songs were
yeah.
on it, but it was a double-sided cassette from, and that's when they used to do it when like movies, they would just put these like songs on a cassette around a soundtrack. And yeah, I remember having the Wayne's World one. Maybe it was Wayne's World 1, maybe it was Wayne's World 2, but I think it was Wayne's World 2. I
That
had
had
the
stuff
cassette of
like
that.
Aerosmith, like Dude Looks
Yes,
Like a
it probably was
Lady and
Aerosmith.
stuff. Oh, fucking
It was. Oh
amazing.
no, it definitely 100% was that. That's for sure
Yeah.
what it was. But yeah, I mean, download this year again was another experience. But I don't know. It's been fun to be able to play our music to this many people, and it's just kind of crazy to think about. And now we're gonna go back over, to the UK
Yeah,
and
you've got
play.
some great dates. Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy to think about as well. Like that's just I wouldn't expect the band to be headlining Alexandria Palace.
That's
Like
going to be fucking epic.
and it's because again, I've seen so many videos of like Architects or like Bring Me the Horizon, I
Yeah.
believe, and all these bands. I'm like, oh my God, they're playing the biggest show in this big room. And like we supported Parkway Drive and we opened that tour in Alexandria Palace, and I was like, this is crazy that we're here. I never thought we would ever headline. I was like, maybe if we're lucky, we'll be higher up on a bill and being able to like play later in the day at this venue. Never thought, hey, we're gonna headline, which is like kind of crazy to think about. But I'm really excited just because like again, it's just something that I never thought the band would do personally. So it's just kind of crazy to think about.
And you've got Whitechapel with you, so that's going to be fucking
Oh, it's
insane.
always awesome for me, like when you get to go on tour with bands that you like grew up loving, as well as like then you get to meet them and they're just great people. So like
Yeah.
obviously we're on tour with them, Shadow of Intent and Humanity's Last Breath. Now I love
That's
Humanity's Last Breath.
insane. That lineup is what a fucking tour that's going to be. Like,
It's awesome when you get to be
unreal.
like when you get to kind of like just toss out an idea of like, hey, what if we brought these bands out on tour? And then it ends up becoming that tour. And it's like
Wow.
filled with bands that like you like as people as well as you
It's like your
like
friends
as a
and
band.
family, yeah.
It's because it makes going on tour a lot easier. Because again, I think what some people don't understand, maybe people do understand, maybe people don't understand. It's like you leave your life at home, which I'm a homebody anyway. Maybe this is coming from, maybe this is my own perspective. I'm a homebody and I love being home. I love my routines of being home. And again, I love to go out on the road, but it makes it that much easier to be out on the road, being around a bunch of bands you like love listening to, as well as a bunch of people that you love as people. And just crazy that the people that you love as people are in bands that you like. And it just like, it's kind of a crazy like Christmas experience. So it's just really awesome that I get to like go watch Whitechapel, and then like after we're done playing, go hang out with Whitechapel.
So
You know what I'm
cool.
saying? So it's just
Yeah.
like it was just cool because like we had him on our last tour, and it was like before we went on. I remember just like I was just waiting to go on, and just Phil from Whitechapel was just sitting there, and me and him were talking about like Call of Duty, and I was like, this is crazy. I'm about to play a show in like 5 minutes, and we're just talking about video games, which is like to me, it makes being away from home that much easier. It
Yeah.
makes it that much more enjoyable to be able to connect with other people about other things, to kind of feel like, okay, I'm away from home, but at least there's people that like make it more enjoyable and make it not feel so like this is work.
Yeah, of
So I'm
course.
really excited for that. I'm excited that we're going to Europe in a time of year that like I always imagine Europe being like cold and winter.
It's going to be
So
magical, man. Like, you've
I
got
love
some
it because I mean
great places.
I spent half my time in the UK anyway,
Yeah.
because my partner lives there, so I'm always in Scotland like half the year.
Oh, lovely.
So yeah, it's awesome. I got to
Where
go to
about in
the.
Scotland?
So she lives right outside Edinburgh.
I love Edinburgh. What a beautiful
It's
place.
it is it is. I think it's one of the. I've been to a lot of places, and I'm 100% biased on this, but
Yeah.
I think it's one of the, every time I go there, I'm like, you live in one of the most like astounding looking places, and everyone that lives there is always like, yeah, this place is shit, and I'm like, you guys are insane. You guys
I
can see
know.
like endless rolling hills, and it's endless green, and like there's castles and all this like history, and like it's an amazing like Edinburgh and Glasgow is both amazing
Oh my
cities,
God,
just
I
like
love
from
Glasgow. Yeah.
the people are incredible, like some of the best people, just because like I don't know, it feels like when you talk about going to New Jersey, when I go to Scotland specifically, it feels like home because they don't treat you any differently
No.
than they don't like it's I love it. I go see I see her family and they don't treat me as if, oh, you play in this successful band. They still will rag on me as if like I'm not anyone important. I'm like, I prefer that. I don't put me on this pedestal like, oh, you play in a band. They just treat me as if like I'm an everyday person, and I'm like, I prefer that. I
It
prefer
keeps you
everyone.
humble, doesn't it? It
It
makes
does.
you,
It's and
yeah,
I
yeah,
prefer that way. I prefer that way. I don't want to be built up on a pedestal. Like it's weird. So it's just nice that I'm still gonna get treated like I'm not. I get the brunt of it all just because being an American over there, I'm just gonna get made fun of the most, and I just love that I'm just treated very normally over there, and everyone there is very friendly. They're gonna take the piss out of you, but it's also done in a very loving way. I don't know how they do it; they just do it
yeah.
perfectly.
It's
But
incredible. Yeah, they're the
yeah,
best
I
people.
do love going there, and I love being in Europe, Europe and the UK like at that time of year because it's kind of what you imagined.
Yeah,
We did obviously get to do European festivals and it's great, but I don't picture when I think of Europe, I don't think of like a field in France in a blistering hot day. Like I don't picture that at all. Again, not mad about it,
no,
but
no,
like
of course, man. It's the way it is, and you're here in February, aren't you? So
yeah,
it's going
I
to
think
be a
it's
bit
pretty much.
chilly, a bit dark at night. Yeah,
I love it because we did a tour where we did in November and it was awesome because like it was just dark at like 5 o'clock and it was just like rainy obviously every day in the UK, so it was great and I loved it and I love that weather and I'm like I can't wait to go back because like every time we go to Europe in the summer, everyone it's always like this is record breaking heat waves that we've
yeah,
never
the
seen. I'm
hottest
like,
day
why?
ever. Yeah.
Every single day we get there, it's the hottest day ever. I'm like, why is it always the hottest day ever every time we're here? I want it to be the coldest, wettest, snowiest day ever. Because I'm like, this is what I picture when
Floods. Yeah.
I floods. Yeah, actually, please flood.
That's a long-term relationship. Like, that's a long distance. Like, fair play to you.
Yeah,
Like, some of my friends are like, oh, it's really hard at the moment. I've got to drive an hour and a half. I'm like, this is what works. Scotland and New Jersey.
yeah, it does. And like, it is just. I mean, I'm very grateful for the band and the job and the freedom that I
Yeah.
have to be able to go overseas. I'm so used to living out of a suitcase, so like the idea of getting on a plane is not a big deal. But I also think just being in the being in always in the UK, and I talk about like uh distance. Like I'll ask her. I'm like, oh, how far is it? And she's like, oh, it's pretty far. It's like about like an hour away. And I'm like, that's not far at all. Like from an American's perspective, an hour away is a short drive. So it's just
Yeah.
funny. I feel like over there, like, oh, it's 30 minutes away, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty close. Actually, that's actually fair. That's a reasonable drive. I'm willing to do that. Yeah, it's kind of funny, but I'm very grateful that the band brought me overseas and I got to meet an awesome person and yeah, it's really cool that I get to do that and I get to go to what I think is one of the best looking places
Yeah,
that I've
ever.
ever been to. It's just perfect for me. Like I think it's amazing, and I've been to like I said
Yeah.
amazing sites that I'm very grateful for. But I'm like, there's just something about it where I'm like, this just looks fantastic, and I love
Have
it.
you been to the Barrowlands in Glasgow to see a
Yeah,
gig?
last time we played there, we played the
Ah,
Barrowlands, and
yeah.
it was one of my
What an
favorite shows.
incredible play. I saw Biffy Clyro there this year, three
That's her
nights
favorite
running.
band. That's
Oh,
her literal favorite.
3 nights running. And that venue is fucking incredible. And I had the singer from Biffy Clyro come on for episode 300. I've got his signature tattooed on my arm.
No
The
way.
best band, like the best. You know, I
Yeah,
don't.
we played the Barrowlands, and I think at that point in time we broke the crowd surfing record, but we tried to break it. We were like basically like we want to break the record for the most amount of crowd surfers, and we broke it like within the first few songs, and it was awesome. I was like, this is
It's a
great.
real magical place, man. Like, the
It's
moment I walked in
awesome.
there, I was like, "Oh, this feels historic," and I couldn't have asked for a better venue to see my favorite band.
I've always felt that every time we played Glasgow, it was my favorite city to play in the UK, just because the crowd is just like different.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like they're so different, but it's just like it's so awesome. The energy you get from them is insane. So I do again. We played the Barrowlands. It was incredible. It was
yeah.
such a good show, and I kept hearing about, oh, you're playing the Barrowlands. You're playing Barrowlands, and I was like seeing the magical sign, and then I go to the venue, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is a nice venue, but like it's not what like everyone was describing. It's just more of like a nostalgic, historic venue as opposed to like here's this like uh brand new state of the art venue. Like I was like, oh yeah, this is like awesome, and like but I think like it was just an incredible show. I
It
loved it.
feels
I
so
loved the.
intimate. I could just
It
walk
does.
straight and see the band in front of me. It felt like a real special moment to see my
I
favorite
love
band. You know.
places like that because it just feels like you can just you're there for one reason only. As a band, you're there to play, and as a fan, you're there to just watch, and just like
Yeah,
all the other stuff is like frills and added like bonus and whatnot. So to me, just like to just go to like just a meat and potatoes venue, just
It's
play a
just
nice venue.
stripped back. It's just this is the venue. It's fucking cool. The
It's
lights
awesome.
outside look great, and the
It's
sound's
it's it,
great.
you
And
know,
it's
I think that's the biggest part is like I think it sounds
yeah,
really good in there, which is I think important. But yeah, it was amazing to play there. I was really excited to play there because I knew nothing of it. And when I got the routing, I was with her and I was like, oh yeah, we're playing the Barrowlands. She was like, you're playing the Barrowlands, and I was like, is that like a big deal? Or, like I don't know. And she's like, that's just like a notorious venue in like Glasgow. And I was like, oh, I have literally no idea. And then we played,
amazing.
and I was like, okay, I get it. And like it's just really awesome. So yeah, I'm very happy to have played there. So
And before we wrap up,
sure.
we can't not talk about the fact that in a week's time, the brand new album's out.
Yes.
And how does it feel? Because it's finished, it's mastered, it's ready for the world to see. Is it fucking feeling like Christmas Eve for the next few days, ready to hit that button and people be able to go out and get that beautiful vinyl and stream it and hear it? Because sitting on new music must be like, I just want the world to hear it now, you know?
Yeah, it's a every time we release a record for me, it's always a mixed feeling.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It's we just had our band Zoom like right before we did this, and someone said, "Oh yeah, it comes out next week," and I think someone else in the band was like, it didn't does not feel like it's coming out next week because it's just like we turned it in months ago and like it just came out like this day comes up out of nowhere, and it always does every time. Like you turn in a record months in advance, and then
Yeah.
like next minute you know a week later you're like, oh, the record comes out, so it like kind of comes out of nowhere. But a part of me is like the thing that I've always said is like once you release a song, it's no longer your song, it's everybody else's.
Oh,
And
nice. I like that.
it's something like so for a while, like when you have a record and it's not released yet, like for a while this is still feels like these are my songs and it feels like, it's the band songs because no one has heard it. But then the moment you put out a song or put out a video or whatever, it's no longer yours anymore. Like it's everyone else's. And I think it's kind of starting to like feel like you're parting ways with it. So it's a little bit of like I don't know what it's like to have a kid go to school for the first day, but it probably feels similar to that. Like, oh my God, I'm letting this child go out into the world. Like, what can happen? It's it's scary, it's exciting. On one hand, you're excited to release it to be like, check out what we can do. On
Yeah.
another hand, it's just obviously you get nervous of like what are people going to say about it. You put your you're all into it and every ounce of you into this album and then and into every album and you're just like I hope people receive it and then it just and in a moment someone can just be like this is absolutely garbage and just tear it to shreds and it's just like it's disheartening sometimes, so it is scary on one hand, but on the other hand I'm excited. It feels like it's just nice to release it and to get it out and to get it out in the world and just kind of like not saying I don't want to say get rid of it because it's not like that, but it's just to put it out and just share with
It's a hand
everybody.
over, isn't it,
Yeah,
really? Like,
exactly. And
yeah.
just to get it off my shoulders. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
of
saying? Like here,
course.
yeah, here you could have it, experience it. And I think for me, with this record specifically, I've had my time and my moment with it. So with every record, thankfully we have the record for a while. So I get to like go through it, listen to it, experience all the songs, and then by the time it comes out, to me it's like old.
That's
It
fair.
is
Yeah.
you,
Quite a
you know,
few people have
so
said that as well that come on like they've kind of passed it by the time it's out because they've had it for so long. They've lived with it,
yeah,
they've
exactly.
listened.
And
Yeah.
and because this record we've worked on it for longer than we worked on any other record, some of these songs are like quote unquote old to me. So I've already had my moments with them. So it just kind of feels like, okay, I'm ready to part with this. I'm ready to, you could just rip it from my hands right now. But, so on one hand, it's exciting to kind of put it out. I feel like, okay, it's about time. You can relinquish this, Adam. And then the other part is, it is scary to release a record because you don't know how people are going to perceive it. You don't know if people are going to hate your band. But I try to linger on to hope, but they do say it's the hope that kills you. And
Do you read the reviews, truthfully, Adam? Do you sit there and look at the
I used
comments?
to.
Yeah.
I used to. Because you obviously you want to read it to hear the good things.
But the moment, even if you read 1,000 people saying it's the best album you've ever done, the best work, that one person that says this is shit, that hits fucking hard.
Oh, it does. So I think I just
It
avoid
cripples
doing
me.
that.
Yeah.
Just for like the just peace of mind. Because I'm like, I think at the point now, it's like no one's gonna say anything that will change my experience on the songs that I like. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The same, and not even just going for my band, for any band. Like if I listen to a band that I love and someone's like, I've had friends, I've been like, I don't like that band at all, and it doesn't change my experience on bands
No.
that I love. So I think the same way that I feel about these songs, like if someone says they don't like it, I feel like there's nothing I can do about it, and it shouldn't shake my opinion on it. But I think for me, the best thing I do is I avoid it. Just because like I kind of make myself go mental and I go nuts, and I'm just like, no, there's no reason for it. Like you got to be confident and trust your product and believe in your product, and like you have to don't rely on outside evidence and experiences to build up your view of it. Like everyone has their own opinion, which they're all entitled to, and they're all can be, you can all say like you don't like it or you can say you love it, and it shouldn't build me up or break me down. It should, because I don't want to be dependent on anyone's opinion on it. So I'm trying to work a lot more about like not just avoiding it just because it's
It's a
like
very healthy way to be.
I don't want to be like built up and being like, okay, everyone loves it, so like, look at me, I'm this like
Yeah.
spectacle. But then if I get built up that same way, I can easily get crushed and toppled by a bunch of people going, this is terrible. And then I've had some of the worst days where like, I'm like, I have to get off social media, I have to delete social media, I have to delete YouTube
Yeah.
off my phone because I just can't look at it. And I'm just having an awful time. And then I would be with my partner or be out and about, and I'm just like having a miserable time and ruining my actual time with people that I want to be around because of someone saying something negative about
Who you
a
don't
part of a
even
song.
know. Yeah.
Exactly, and I'm just like it doesn't help me in the long run, and it's like that's
And it's very, very dangerous. It's very
it is.
negative, and I think it's quite toxic, and it has an effect on you where it's damaging. That's the word I was looking for because
And
it continues. And if you keep looking, you will find whatever you look for. So if I
mhm,
want to go now online and spend the rest of my night looking for someone saying that this podcast is the worst thing in the history of podcasting, I will find it somewhere. Why would I do that? Why don't I just go and enjoy the time with my wife, my dogs, have a nice
exactly.
cup of tea, and just enjoy life?
If you're proud of what you do, that's all you need, and
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
kind of what I try to tell myself. Like, I'm not saying that feedback is not important. I'm not saying to not take it, but to generate your self-worth based off of that feedback, whether it be good or bad. Because I've seen it happen on both ends. If like we put out a song, or it happened a few years ago, we first started kind of blowing up, and everyone's like, celebrating us. I'm like, oh my God, I'm amazing, I'm the best. And then like it's not healthy to have that
No.
either. And I never had that outward expression of that, but in my head I'm like, oh my God, I can do no wrong. And it's also not, I don't want to be that either. And I've had that like conversation within myself, and then simultaneously, if I can also have reading a bunch of negative feedback online, and then you just go, I'm the worst, I'm shit at this, why do I do this,
Yeah, I
there's no
might pack
reason.
up. Yeah.
And both ways are not productive. So I just try to like have a level head of like, do you believe in these songs? Yes. And just leave it at that. Like it's not for you to decide. What was it? Kill them all, let God sort them out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I just
Yeah.
kind of feel
Yeah.
like just like that's just kind of what it is. Just write the songs and let everyone else figure it out for you. You don't have to. It's your job to just write the music, and everyone else will have their discussion on it. Because I've seen so many since putting out these three songs. I've seen so many. Will read two contradictory parts back
Yeah.
to back. You'll see a comment saying this is the worst song they ever put out, and the following comment is this is my favorite song that was put out. So I'm like, who's
You can't
right?
win. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, who was right at this point? Someone being like, I think this is the best song they put out. Someone else being like, I think this is the worst song they put out. So, and everyone has a completely different, contradictory view on it. So I'm like, then who's right? No one's right. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And no one's meant to be right. It's just a matter of that's everyone's opinion, which everyone is allowed to have. It's just, I just don't really. I used to um, validate myself and build up my self worth based off of what people's opinion about the band was, and I felt how unhealthy it was, how miserable I was, and how just like how much of a it took away from why I do this. And I'm like that's not a reason to go do. That's not a reason to write songs is to
No.
be like I want people to say good things about me. It's not a reason to like go perform live so people say good things about you. Like you do this because you love doing it. You do it because it's fun for you to do. It's your passion. It's something that you've always loved doing. And your self-worth, your image, your identity should not be roped up into what someone says about you. And again, so I used to read it. I used to watch reactions to it, and it's sometimes it's nice to do, but sometimes I just found myself leaving and being like miserable and being like second guessing every decision I've thought about. And then now I'm just like, I feel good about the songs. Everyone else in the band feels good about the songs.
That's
And that to
enough.
me,
That's
and that
enough.
that that sh and that gets to be enough, and that should be enough. It shouldn't be like everyone under the sun feels exactly the same way about it as I do. And it's just like I don't know. It's like what people say about kids, like no one's gonna love your kids more than you will. So it's like it's kind of like that in a way. Not that it is like a kid because it's not. It's a song, but at the or an album rather. But
But it's
to
something that
me,
means a lot to you. It's close to you.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. You put a lot of effort, energy, and resources into it, and it's very close to you, and it's an extension of yourself. So yeah, I try not to. This record, I'm going into it being like, I don't really read it. I found myself like just not being happy after every time I would read it, or I don't know, just never was in a good place. And I'm like, that's not really productive. And if it's not working for me, like as far as like just reading and analyzing everyone's, you know, opinion on it, I'm like, then there's no reason to do that. Like, I like playing the songs. I like that I wrote the songs. I like hearing these songs. People in the band like them, and it's just like that's enough for me. And ironically enough, like the band has grown significantly from it. So clearly, that's like enough evidence that I need
There you
to be
go.
like you're doing the right thing. So yeah, I to answer your question, I don't anymore. I try, and it's really hard. You want to be like, what is this person saying about you? But I really don't anymore
You're doing
because
well,
I
my friend, because it's a lot easier said than done. And a lot of the times you talk tonight, it sounds like we're very similar. And what you're saying is like in my head. And I'm like, fuck, man, well done, because it isn't as easy as just saying it out loud. You're like, you get the itch, you get the urge, you get the, do you know what? I just want to have a quick look on the comments. And then you're like, why did I do that? Like, why? Fucking hell. I was having a nice day and now I'm
yeah,
fucking pissed off. And I'm like, why did I do that? I had control, the strength not to do it, and now I've fucked it up. And it's like,
no, that's definitely. I've had those moments where like I'll have
yeah,
a good day and I'm like, today's been a great day. I played guitar. I enjoyed. I felt good on guitar and had a good day at the gym. And then you have a great day spending time with your partner and you're like, oh, this is amazing. And then you just see like a comment being like, the band sucks, and you're just like, and then you start like going down this like rabbit hole. And I'm like, why am I doing it? I had an amazing day, and I just like let it get tarnished by like someone's opinion about it. And it's like, and not they're wrong in saying that. It's just like
no, you're right.
I don't need to let that affect my whole situation. And yeah, it's just like it's something that I try to avoid. And it's something that like I work pretty hard on to like stop myself and like, no, don't read it. Or if you do read it, just know you have the potential to like have a bad day.
Yeah.
And but I think like I said, as I've been trying to coach myself through this album, because the last album I was really bad with it. Last album I was reading everything. I was reading every negative feedback of us online. I was watching every live video and being like, we suck or whatever it is. And I'm just like, man, like, are we really that bad of a band? Are we really doing that bad? Then you go play a show and it's just like you'll play to a bunch of people. And I'm like, well, if we're that bad of a band, well, it's not really showing here, But yeah, so I was really bad last record. So this record, I'm trying to approach it from just like a
Embrace it,
different,
man.
yeah, exactly, from a different place. But it is hard. I won't lie. It is really hard, and it takes every ounce of me to prevent that from myself, prevent
Well,
myself
I'm
to.
rooting for you, dude. I'm going to
Thank
hope
you,
that you
thank
don't
you.
do it. And Adam, final question. I'm conscious
Yes.
of time. What I do on this podcast, I've never changed it. You get to choose the song that plays at the end of the podcast, okay? So every guest that comes on, there's 460 something episodes now. Every guest that's been on, all the people I've mentioned to you today have chosen a song that means a lot to them to play as the outro music. I put you on the spot. It's cruel. You're in a band. You've probably got 1,000 songs in your head. I don't want you to pick your own songs.
No, I'm not doing that.
A song that means a lot. Bert from the Used picked his own song, but what's the song that came to your heart and soul when I asked the question above everything else that will then be the perfect outro for today's interview?
I'm gonna go with Freebird, Leonard Skinner.
Wow, that's fucking huge.
I'm
That's
free
the
as a bird.
one.
I'm free as a
Jesus.
bird. I'm free as a bird.
Man, that's I love the film director Cameron Crowe. He made Almost Famous, which is one of my favorite films ever, especially if you're in a band. He also did stuff like Vanilla Sky,
Okay, okay.
and he did Jerry Maguire. So he's just a brilliant film director. And he made a film called Elizabethtown, and there's a funeral scene, and the cover band that are on the stage play that song. And if you just watch that scene on YouTube, it all kicks off, and the family's arguing, and a fire breaks out, and it's
Actually, I'm gonna change it. I'm
oh
keeping Leonard.
man,
I'm keeping Leonard Skinner, and I'm going to Simple Man. I'm keeping.
nice.
That song makes me cry every time I hear it, and it just like it speaks to me. So and I said I said earlier in this podcast, I'm a simple guy. I'm going with A Simple Man.
I think that
Leonard
feels
Skinner.
like the perfect closing because that
Yes.
Freebird's a bit fucking huge.
Freebird is
It's
amazing,
a
and it's
bit
long.
fucking epic to be
It's
like.
long, and it's a little sometimes a little bit. It's asking a bit much to commit that much
I
time
think,
to a
I think
song,
that
but
people will be listening, going, "Oh wow, they did an hour and 10 minutes." I'm like, well, actually, the outro song is nearly 10 minutes. Like, you know,
yeah, no, Simple Man. It makes me cry, like if I hear it at the right time. And I mentioned it unironically just by saying I am Simple Man. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm
that's
gonna
the
go with
one.
Simple Man, Leonard Skinner. That's the song. That'll let
Final
us.
answer.
Yeah, final answer. I'm
Thank
locking it
you.
in. Wait, hold on. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
I was gonna
kidding.
say, fuck you, dude. Adam, it's been an absolute blast. I'm not just saying this. I do this podcast all day, every day. I feel like I've known you years. I feel like your
Perfect.
family.
Perfect.
So thank you so much for coming on. And I give you my word, I will be at the Birmingham show. I will come and say
Awesome.
hello. It's going to be fucking epic.
Well, thank you for having me. And I
Yeah,
know you
man.
said you have guests on multiple times, so I would love to come back on
Do
again
it.
if
Let's
you'll
do it
have me.
face to face, man. That's the
I would
best.
absolutely, I would love it
Yeah, when
because
you're in
yeah,
Birmingham, I will come and meet you. We'll grab some food. We'll sit down and we'll do a face to face before the show, kind of how you feeling interview.
that sounds perfect. Thank you so much for having me. Take care.
So there's my interview with me and Adam from Lorna Shore. What a great guy. What a long interview. I'm so grateful. Sometimes I only get sort of 10, 15 minutes with bands or actors and directors. So it was beautiful to sit there, see an hour had passed, and we could still just carry on talking. You also heard at the very end, we're hopefully going to talk in February face to face in Birmingham and do a follow up because I absolutely loved Adam coming on the podcast and I'm so grateful for his time. And as I said at the start of today's interview, their brand new album is out now. I feel the Everblack festering within me. Go and have a listen. It's absolutely unbelievable. In my opinion, their best album because I'm loving their sound. I'm loving the production. I love the sound that's evolved over time. You'll know that with all episodes of Mark and Me. That's what I absolutely adore when bands don't play it safe and explore and evolve with time. And they've done this beautifully on this album. Before I go, guys, let's do the usual stuff that really is absolutely crucial to the growth of Mark and Me. Please, if you loved today's episode, please share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Tell your friends, tell your family. This band's massive. Everyone loves Lorna Shore, but if you put it on your stories or Facebook, someone will see the artwork. Before you know it, they're listening, they're subscribing, and then they're a listener to Mark and Me each and every week, just because you literally got your thumb and hit the retweet button or share, and that's all it took. I do have a Patreon account which really goes a long way. All the money that comes in from Patreon means that I can go out there and record more episodes for you guys at home. The link's on markandme.com and any support is really needed. I'm an independent one-man team and it all goes right back into the production of the podcast. Before we go, let's give a shout out to the two sponsors of Mark and Me. Firstly, Richer Sounds. If you want to listen to bands like Lorna Shore on the best speakers, go to their website. They've got great TVs, audio hi-fi packages, Blu-ray players. They've got everything to do with audio and visual and won't be beaten on price. And lastly, Vice Press. If you want to get yourself a licensed print or poster by the best company in the world, go on their website, add anything to their store, put it in the basket and literally use the code MarkandMe10 for 10% off that purchase. Right guys, I'm going to go because I'm absolutely exhausted. I've got more interviews coming, loads to edit, and it will only be a few days until you get another slice of the Mark and Me cake. That sounds awful. But hey, I'm going to say thanks for listening and I'll speak to you all very soon.
Mama told me when I was young, sat beside me find love. And don't forget, son, there is someone up above. And be a simple kind of man, or be something you love and understand. Baby, be a simple kind of man. Oh, won't you do this for me, son, if you can? Get your lust for the rich man's gold. Oh, that you need.